XRP has narrowly avoided closing lower than the 55 cents area, and most recently on the smaller timeframes, XRP has found some support on its 200 1-hour EMA. Is the tide now turning for XRP, and are we going to see a significant price surge in the very near future? In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the small, medium, and long-term price expectations that I have for XRP. I'll be sharing my opinions as where I think the price is heading. As I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe, and let's jump right down into the charts and take a look at what's going on with XRP. Okay guys, we're going to kick things off on the smaller time frame. This is the 1-hour time frame. XRP paired up with USDT on the 1-hour Binance chart. And you can see just down here that we found brief support a few hours ago on the 200-day EMA. And we also can see a golden cross here with that 50 SMA crossing higher than the 200-hour EMA. So it's looking pretty positive. This is after finding a good strong area down here at 55.2 cents. This area, including basically Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market pulling XRP and various altcoins to the downside, we can see that this area is held up very, very well for XRP. And this area would have been a big major danger zone should we have closed lower than 55 cents. However, we rallied up, we found resistance as kind of expected here on that 50 SMA, and of course the 200 EMA, the 50 EMAs as well. This was all over kind of early the week, Monday and Tuesday. Now, however, we're turning the tide. We saw a bit of a surge yesterday on the 1700-hour UTC surge to the upside. We did actually get a position here at 58.34 cents. We did pull back down and found support here on the 200 hourly EMA. Okay, obviously this is a previous area right up here as well between the 57 and 57.61 and 57.95 as a previous area of resistance. And now this resistance and all that sell pressure that was mounting here seems to be evaporating as we kind of find ourselves consolidating inside this range. This means that XRP could potentially be on the cusp of an additional run to the upside. The question becomes, how high do we think that's likely to go? I've been through this a couple of times, and we can of course see on the smaller time frame here a bit of a potential for XRP to surge to the upside. This is coming in about 59.01 to 59.86. I'm going to go ahead and just draw a little rectangular box right inside here just so we can be aware of where that potential sits. Okay, so that's where we have that potential sitting on the 1-hour time frame. Okay, our stochastic RSI is showing us with some potential to the upside, but we are on the cusp of a potential negative cross with the yellow line crossing lower than the white line. Essentially, that stochastic RSI is seeing and showing momentum shifting to the downside. So we want to be aware of that right where we are right here, but we have still got some potential for some lift to the upside in terms of momentum. So I'm not completely kind of saying that we are going to see great runs to the upside, but that does show some potential here. Alongside that of the relative strength index is also showing us with some strength on the 1-hour time frame, showing that we are likely to see, in my opinion, this next push to the upside. Any way to kind of prevent this is to see a slippage down lower than the previous low at 55.51 cents. If we do break that low, then I'm going to have to mark this as a truncated move, just falling short of its expected targeted range. So for XRP on the 1-hour time frame, what are my expectations? Well, my expectations are 59.01 to 59.87 cents. Might not be the most phenomenal move, but with some leverage, you might see a good kind of 2 to 3.5%, and that could be pretty lucrative with a 10x leverage position. So, for me, that's not bad. I would potentially be thinking about a potential pull to find support on that 50 EMA for an entry on a long. Stop loss just below the 200 EMA, and we'll take profit somewhere up in that range. It gives you a great risk-reward ratio of at least 3.6. So it would be a great way to trade. And of course, if I am to trade, I'm going to be trading on BitGet. BitGet's my go-to platform when it comes to leverage-based trades. So yeah, that's going to be your 1-hour time frame. Let's roll this up into a 4-hour just to kind of see how that kind of sits here as well. Again, you can kind of see that playing out quite nicely, but you can of course see on the 4-hour time frame all of these wicks. They're basically showing us with an undecided market, a market market that cannot decide whether to go short or go long, to buy or to sell. And so that's kind of what you're seeing here, a bit of an indecisive market. Now, what I would say is that although this might seem like we're getting some traction, it does also show a lot of concerns. Higher highs and higher lows with an overlapping nature of candlesticks like this is unfortunately, it has a tendency to want to break on down. We kind of draw this in here with the idea as well of an ascending wedge. I'll go ahead and draw in the trend lines. As you can kind of see here, this would be a bearish breakdown where we will be looking for further declines in price action. But again, I don't think that's going to happen immediately. We'll talk probably more about how that's going to play out in later videos. Let's roll this up into a daily time frame. On the daily time frame here, you can see, of course, this volatility playing out. We have got that idea that we might not have completely finished the X wave just yet, but also I think we probably have, and what we've actually started to see here is this bigger kind of correction ahead of the next big surge, because we are, of course, talking about the idea of moving to 75 to 85 cents in the kind of, coming months. Now, this to me looks like a pretty decent position, but we are looking for this correction right in here to continue to play out just a little bit more. I do expect us to lose that 55-cent area that's currently acting as key support for XRP, but it doesn't distract us from those bigger plays. Obviously, we were talking about before that range between 53 and 54 cents, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more of a pull to the downside to finish that structure off. This isn't to say that everything is bearish, because actually this is a bullish place to be on the daily time frame. As you can kind of see, we're tracking this upward move for XRP, but we have to appreciate that on the smaller time frames, we're not necessarily just done. We're going to have a little rally, in my opinion, and then we'll come on down, and then once that's complete, that's when we get into those next big moves to the upside. So a lot of things to kind of be hoping for, lots of things to kind of be cautious on, but one of the key messages here is that things take time. We can't just expect instantaneous results, and so if you are patient enough, I think things will start paying dividends in due course. So yeah, patience is the message here. So on our daily time frame, is there anything else of note? Well, we can go ahead and use smart money concepts to indicate that this area of fair value gap. The fair value gap essentially shows an area of illiquidity in this move to the upside that we saw on the 8th of August. Okay, or sorry, the 7th of August. This move to the upside essentially was a lot of buying pressure, not enough sellers were there, and that is the definition of an illiquid market. Basically, too many buyers, not enough sellers, the market's not liquid. And as such, the price action moves to where the sellers were. In this particular case, because there's buying pressure, price went up higher to find sellers, and that is called a pocket of illiquidity. So what happens here is when these pockets appear, these fair value gaps, price wants to come down and fill them. Basically, markets generally, it's not a guarantee, but generally, they like to put liquidity where liquidity was not. And in this particular case, that range of where liquidity is potentially going to be put is going to be between 51.89 and that slightly higher range of 57.83. Okay, so that's the range of illiquidity, and that's where the market is trying to put liquidity back in. Now, outside of that, we are in a bullish structure. We can see that right here with this change of character that hasn't been changed. There's a couple of minor stuff going on, but the major changes here are still very much valid, that we are in bullish times on smart money concepts. Okay, so we're looking pretty good. Elliott wave theory, smart money concepts are both telling us that we're going to expect some volatility, probably fill out the fair value gap, fill out that kind of three-wave structure on the smaller time frames, and then we're going to be looking for this lift towards 75 to 85 cents. Can take weeks to play out, but it gives you an idea as to kind of what's going on. Now, if we roll this up into a weekly time frame, nothing much has changed here since the previous videos, but you kind of get the idea of where XRP is heading, right? This might feel like it's kind of taking its time, it's dragging its heels, and sure, it is, right? There's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to XRP, the lawsuit, and all that kind of stuff. We are, of course, stuck in this particular range right here, but like I was talking about on the smaller time frames, where we have that kind of higher high, higher low overlapping price action, well, you have a very similar thing going on over here, but this one is in the opposite way around. This is a declining wedge, and this declining wedge is bullish, and we will be looking for a big break to the upside, a massive breakout for XRP. And I know a lot of people are speculating on various different social media platforms about how XRP is going to have the biggest breakout in its history, and I agree, it probably most likely will, and that's why we are targeting out $5.59 to $11.25, but it's not going to happen instantaneously. I mean, it can happen obviously tomorrow, it could happen next week, it could happen next month, it could happen 6 months from now, right? We can't time the market, but what we can do is we can say, okay, well, things here are preparing quite nicely for that. We see a great area for accumulation, anywhere really in this range between 33.46 and 46.16 seems to be a great pocket for accumulation. Every time prices come here, it's rallied quite nicely. It could be a great area for dollar cost averaging. And that's not to mention that the 200-week EMA is sat at 50.77 cents, another area for great accumulation should price look to retrace. So all of that volatility that I was talking about before we get into that surge of 75 to 85 cents could be a huge opportunity to build those positions in XRP ahead of what happens next, which is a fantastic break to the upside where we are looking for some realistic price expectations for XRP. Now, you guys can let me know what your thoughts are on all of this in the comments below. Where is your kind of moonshot for XRP? How high do you think it's going to go by the time the 2025 bull market comes to a peak? Let me know. And if you found this useful and informative, smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe. And if you haven't done so yet, check out my second channel where I cover a lot more technical analysis on a day-by-day basis.